This is the Living in Mid-Bloom podcast, lighthearted and heartfelt conversations about what it looks like to live, heal, and blossom in middle age. I'm your host, April Pruitt. Let's get our bloom on. Hey, my mid-bloomers and friends, how is everybody doing? I will tell you that I'm doing fine, but it's not completely true. I have been going through it for the past month or so. I can't believe it's been a month since I had that TIA that I've been talking about. And things didn't have to change in my life, but I decided if I wanted to be here and live a good long life, I had to make changes. And so I have, and it's hard. It is hard. I would tell you, food is kind of one of the last bastions of things I use to numb myself. It's just being honest. That's what I do. If it's, I'd like 2 pizzas, please. I've got company coming over. Yeah, it's not just for me, playing those old ridiculous games on myself. But after what I experienced, I just did a complete change. Now, it hasn't been perfect, but I've made changes. So what have I done? Making changes. So I know I've focused, and I think I said this before, that focusing on my mental health, spiritual health, and I kind of left my body out of it, not even being conscious about that, simply because I just knew it was going to be difficult work for me. It was going to be very hard work for me. And guess what? I'm doing the work. I have to do it. Well, let me tell you about a conversation I had with my spiritual coach. She had sent me a text about this actress, Valerie Bertinelli. I'm sure you guys remember her from some old sitcoms. But she had posted something on Instagram about wearing her fat clothes, her clothes before she lost the weight where she is. And I've always seen this person as someone that's very open about her life. I know she was married to a rocker. I can't remember the guy's name. But she was basically saying that her struggle for years of self-love, and after years and years of therapy, which I can relate to because I've done the same thing. And yes, in the past, there have been times when I have lost weight, but because I wasn't fully healed, it came back again. And if it wasn't food, it would have been shopping. Yes, I've done that, spending money that I don't have, or binging on TV, or in a relationship that had nothing to do with reality, just wanting somebody to say to me that they loved me. And so through their eyes, I say, oh, I guess I am good, instead of my own eyes. At least with the relationship stuff, that ain't coming back. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But anyway, with Valerie Bertinelli, she's just basically saying that she's finally gotten to that point where she really loves herself and feels good about herself, and it has nothing to do with how much weight she lost. It has nothing to do with what she can afford to buy as far as her clothing. It's not about anything that's tangible. It is about that self-love. And I'm working hard on that, and I still struggle with it. But when I have those moments of clarity, when I'm just like in the zone, when I'm good, there's no other feeling like it. Now, when my spiritual coach brought this up, I felt very vulnerable because she's at the end of her journey as far as her weight loss and health as she continues. I'm at the very beginning. I am at the very beginning, and it felt hard because of all this work I've done, to working on the podcast, to my book, so many different projects, but there's so much work on myself that I still need to continue. So, I was feeling a little teary eyed, but I thought, you know what, April, you're here now. And if I hadn't had that TIA, I wonder when I would have started this plan, because I was not actively taking care of my health. I was also starting another project I was working with a coach. And what I found is the work we were doing involved my voice, whether it's singing, talking, doing videos, speaking. You have to have, again, the mind, body, and soul connection. What I realized when she and we've only done a few minutes of work, it all happened. We were working together, and then a few days later, I had that TIA. So there were so many things that I had to stop. But as I'm looking at that work, what it did was remind me that, wow, I don't like my body. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how much I weigh. And all of that came out from those few minutes of work. I want to thank this person, because it was like nothing happens by coincidence. It's all by design. And having those feelings about my body, and then having that TIA, it just brought it full circle. And the person I'm talking about is Cindy Ashton. She is awesome. And Cindy, I thank you for those few minutes of work when we've got so much more to do down the road. So, always grateful for those things. So, what are the changes I've been making over this past month? I can't believe it's been a month. Staying away from processed food as much as possible, but I'm also making sure I'm eating food that I like, because if I'm just eating something that I can't get any little joy from tasting, it just makes it that much harder to stick to it. I'm eating the way that I feel I can continue to eat, that it's not, okay, in 6 months, I have to stop this. I've lost the weight. Now I get to go back to whatever. But no, this is a change. So, for example, like for breakfast, I love sweet potatoes. So I'll microwave a sweet potato, put a couple of poached eggs on it, maybe a little cut up spinach, kind of cook it a little bit in that. And I love it. I love the little sweetness from the sweet potato. I love poached eggs. It's very simple, basic. I love pomegranate seeds. I snack on those. Tuna, peanut butter. I'm staying away from especially processed meat, looking at salt content, of it, sugar content, because I'm a diabetic. So that's just another issue that's out there. In making these changes, it's a lot of energy. It is a lot of energy. My plan for the year is changing as far as when my season 2 of the podcast will start. It would have started the middle of last month, but I really did have to take a long look at things and step back and get my priorities together. The other part of this is that the hospital that I went to, they are offering, and maybe it's the hospital, maybe partly through my insurance, but they've sent me a kit they sent me a scale, an oxygen meter, a blood pressure cuff, and then I have my own way of checking my glucose. But all of this is by Bluetooth. There's a nurse, she helped me set it up. And anytime I check any of those things, they get that information. So they can see, but fortunately, I have lost some weight, so that's good. And the thing is, it says it out loud, in this computer voice. You weigh 529 pounds. It's like, okay, that's good. That's good. When it checks the blood pressure, if it's off, if it's high or out of a certain range, they will call me And either it will be, you know what, you just took your blood pressure medication, so let's give it an hour and then go back and test it. And usually that works. But there have been some equipment problems. But what I love is that they're watching. They're watching out for me. And I'm still anxious about what happened. I mean, every now and then I'm like, did I feel a little numbness on is that, I'm looking, let me get the mirror. Is there a side of my face sagging? You just get a little paranoid, but I love that they're there. I really do. So I have to go back to my doctor this Friday because I was just having, and I'm not going to say palpitations, but I'm not sure what it is. So they don't want to guess. So I'm going to go in. I'm not nervous about, well, okay, yeah, I was nervous about it when they called me to make the appointment. But I thought, okay, I know that whatever comes, I will be able to work through it and deal with it because I'm a strong woman. Yeah, I'm a brave woman, but I get scared too. I get frightened too, as you do. So I will keep you posted on things because one, I wanted to be honest about all parts of my journey, and I'm hoping that this helps you too. It reminds you how important you are and so many things to do to take care of yourself. So I am just grateful to be here and I am excited for the new season. I hope next week that I'll be able to give you some dates and then let you know what great guests I'm going to have and some more of my own personal journey. So thank you, mid bloomers. Thank you, friends that are out there. Thanks, everyone, for your support. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me today on Living in Midbloom. I hope you found this episode insightful, meaningful, and maybe it's given you something to think about. I invite you to share your positive reviews or ideas on topics you would like me to touch on by leaving your comments on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, Podchaser, or Podcast Addict. We are all divine beings who just want to be seen, heard, and loved. Have a beautiful day.